If you can hear me, please feel free to begin to give the thumbs ups, the several emojis, as it were. I'll appreciate if I can get all of those just to let me know that you all can hear me clearly. Awesome. One of the things I want us to do very quickly, I know we're going to have a lot of people join in a bit, but then I'll be glad if you can pick the link, and then you can share them. Let's borrow your status, let's borrow your several groups uh, for the next few minutes. You can just grab the link and then feel free to share them across board for our real platform members, leaders. Please go ahead and just post them in our various groups, drag your friends. It's a Sunday evening. I want to believe most of our folks are either on their bed or in their sitting room watching TV. Just get to invite them, bring them into the room. Let's have real conversations. Okay, let's do that very quickly. Share, 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 and share. I just did too as well. I just put the link in my status, and then excuse me, posted it across a few groups that I belong. Please go ahead and do that. I want us to get to some numbers, and then we can get started. We are live. Yep, 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 yep. All right, let's go ahead and keep doing that. Let's go ahead and keep doing that. The conversation today will be a continuation of what we began 2 weeks ago. And wherever we get to today, we can stop right there. All right, I'll just get started. It's interesting how 2 weeks ago, when we were done, as at yesterday, we had a good number of people that had to go, that began to watch that particular episode of Real Conversations, right? So I want to believe that your friends, your relatives, your neighbors, your colleagues, at some point they will also jump in and be a part of what we do here at the Real platform, especially with the Real Conversations every other Sunday evening. So 2 weeks ago, we started a very important conversation on the law of attention. The law of attention. And if I could summarize it in one sentence, it would be this: that your life is moving in the direction of your attention. Your life is moving in the direction of your attention. Our lives are moving in the direction of our attention. My life is moving in the direction of my attention. We said also that attention is no longer just a personal habit. Attention is an economy. Attention is an economy. And we talked a little bit about how attention now has become an economy in the society, in the community, in the nations of the world that we currently are. I also talked about the fact that attention is a battlefield right now. It's a battlefield. Everybody, every system, every organization, every app, every industry is seeking to grab our attention. I also mentioned that attention is a leadership skill. In 2026, going forward, attention is a leadership skills or is a leadership skill. And in today's world, one of the rarest abilities, one of the most scarce ability, is the ability to stay with what matters long enough for it to produce results. Your ability to stay long enough on what matters until it begins to produce results. We have people who, take a bite here and take a bite there and take a bite all over, but never finish chewing. Never finish chewing. We also established last week that what you consistently give your attention to will eventually shape your affection. What you give your attention to eventually shapes your attention. It shapes your ambition as well. It also shapes your attitude. It shapes your action, your emotions, your outcomes. What you consistently give your attention to. So the real question is not what is or what has your attention. That's not the real question today. The real question is uh, beyond that, because your attention is the steering wheel of your life. I'll say that again. Your attention is the steering wheel of your life. What your or where your attention goes, that's also where your life begins to move. You want to check it. Where your attention goes, that eventually begins to be where your life moves. And where your life keeps moving to, your destiny begins to form. We talked about that last week. We also looked at the reality of today. We took a look at some statistics, as it were. And one of the things that I said last week was that distraction is no longer waiting outside. Distraction no longer waits outside. Distraction is now in our pockets. Distraction wakes up with us. Distraction follows us everywhere that we go. That's why many people are busy, but they're not productive. A lot of people are busy, but not productive. We have people who they are so informed. They are so informed. Ask them any question about anything. They have an idea. They are so informed, but not transformed. And I'm not trying to play with words here. That's the reality that we are in today. A lot of people, they are active. Fine boy, fine girls, very active everywhere, but not effective. Not effective. And why is that? It is because the attention that they require to get to that place of productivity, that place of transformation, that place of effectiveness, the attention required is scattered. So the whole idea, and which I will talk about in a bit, the whole idea behind this conversation, and that's why we call it real conversations. It's not a session where you get motivated. It probably not going to even be where you get inspired. It's where we want to challenge each other, myself inclusive, even though I'm the keynote speaker. The whole idea is to challenge ourselves as a community, as a tribe. Because scattered attention will always produce scattered results. When your attention is not together, your results may not be together. So and that's why when I curated the caption going out with the flyers for today, I said there that how attention has become the new economy. Attention has become the new currency. The World Cup is going on now. What do you think people pay for to attend or to be present in those stadiums? They are kind of paying for an attention. At the end of the day, you get excited, you watch who scores, my fan, I'm the fan of this country or the fan of that club, and at the end of the day, you're excited and all is done. And tickets went as high as $10,000 here in the US. Every app, every platform, and every notification is competing for your attention. I'll say that again. Every app that you have on your phone, every platform that you belong to, every notification you get on your phone or on your device is competing for this one thing, attention. And that's why it's the new currency. So, as a businessman, as a businesswoman, as a professional where you work, either a salesperson, marketing person, administrative person, or you are the CEO of a system or an organization, the whole idea behind what you do is consciously or unconsciously wrapped around who you can grab his or her attention. Because when you can listen, or when they can listen to you for a few minutes, and that's why when you get cold calls, they go straight into the point because they don't want you to hang the call on them. What are they trying to get? Your attention. And as soon as they're able to get it, you're going to pay for it. Either in cash or in kind. You're going to pay for it in one way or the other. Whoever gets your attention can influence your thinking, influence your emotions, influence your decisions, and ultimately influence your life. These are some of the things that we talked about 2 weeks ago. People can be physically present somewhere, but they are mentally absent. Someone reached out to me after the last session we had 2 weeks ago, and then she was saying that, oh, KJK, you got me on this. When you were speaking, you were like, some people are even here listening and they are in the kitchen trying to turn, and then she busted into laughter. And like, that was me right there. You see, the real danger at the end of the day is not distraction. That's not the real danger. The real danger is fragmentation. I'll say it again. The real danger, and actually, which we'll talk about in a bit, that the opposite of distraction or the opposite of attention is not distraction. The opposite, in English, it could be, but in the real sense of it, it's not distraction, it's fragmentation. And I'll talk about it in a bit. When your mind is everywhere, but you are nowhere fully, that's fragmentation. As a parent, you are reading. You pick up a book, for example. I have a book here. Let me give you an example now. You pick up a book, and then you're reading it. It's a good book though. How to be strategic. You pick up the book and you're reading it, and then you are on one page. Say probably you're on page 87, and then right on that page is you. As let's say you're a mom or you're a dad. Right on that page, you are on that page, but then you're already thinking about your son, your daughter, the food, the water, the drink, the school fees, the transport, the fuel for the car, for the car, for the car, the one who is owing you money, the customer who you need, but you're here. Then all of a sudden you remember a comedy you saw a few minutes ago, and then you're laughing. You are still here. I can go on and on and on and on and on talking about what I mean by fragmentation. When your mind is everywhere, but you are nowhere fully. Without depth, sweetheart, without depth, there can be no mastery at all. And I'm talking to trailblazers, I'm talking to world changers, I'm talking to global folks, not those who want to just leave me, myself, and I, because the world has gone past that. Without sustained attention, in the era that we are in, without sustained attention, still talking about the things we discussed, last week, there can never be meaningful success. There could be pieces of it here and there that some people might just be comfortable with. But a lot of us, or rather, I say few of us, were not comfortable with little success. And you cannot get this meaningful success without sustained attention. Greatness that you desire doesn't grow in constant distraction. And we need to understand that. And these are some of the things that we talked about, last week, 2 weeks ago, sorry. And it's still on YouTube. You can always go back to watch it. Because if attention is what shapes the mind, then the question becomes, what is shaping you right now? What is shaping you right now? What are you feeding on daily? What is quietly influencing your emotions, your thoughts, your expectations? So tonight, we'll continue on the journey, and I'll just take it in bits and in pieces. Sometimes later in the nearest future, I want to believe that the media folks will pick, on all of this and make them into, one package, talking about this. And I'm also beginning to think of how I can even convert this into a book at some point. Uh, if we get this right, guys, if we get this right, a lot of things that we battle with when it comes to professional success, personal leadership, system development, and a whole lot of other things, a whole lot of other things will shape up, will shape up, will shape up. Um, you, you see, I'm trying to shape my words right. Um, let's talk about this, okay? So after this series, because it's a series, we'll see how far we can go today, and then we continue again, in 2 weeks. After this series, um we should have been able to move the needle in at least 3 to 5 areas of our lives, which is very key to me. We should become more aware of what has our attention. You should become more aware of what has your attention when we are done with this series. I don't want you to live on autopilot, on Q Sera, what's gonna be. You should be able to identify what is consuming your thoughts, what is consuming your time, what is consuming your energy, what is consuming and taking the place of successful, productive decisions at the end of the day. So number one, we should be able to become more aware of what has our attention. And then the second thing is that we should be able to gather better control over distraction. We should have better control, gain, gather, have better control of our mental fragmentations, which I gave you an example of some few minutes ago. So, um, moving from scattered attention to disciplined focus after this series is my goal. It's not just about you reducing phone distractions. That's not what we're talking about. It goes way beyond that. But I want us to begin to look towards reducing anything that keeps our mind everywhere and nowhere fully. You see, at the end of this, we should connect attention more clearly to purpose. That we begin to ask deeper questions like, is my attention aligned with my purpose? A few weeks ago, I was having a conversation with our members at the Real platform. That's why I want to encourage you to join the Real tribe. And we're talking about purpose, not in the way that we see it or the way that we think about it. I talked about purpose in a very different perspective that opened the eyes of a lot of us to understanding clearer, you know, and how to now begin to align ourselves with purpose. But that's not the conversation today. Um, we should experience better mental clarity after this series, emotional stability after this series, and also productivity. You see, and then the fifth expectation, or I'm looking forward to after we are done, is that we begin to make practical lifestyle changes. You see, that word lifestyle changes is key, is very key. Intentional discipline that produces visible results. So you should not just understand attention, you should practice it. We should rehearse it, creating more focus blocks. Yeah, that reminds me. There's a book I would. Yeah, it's right here. Good book, Time Blocking. You might want to look for it. Time Blocking, your method to supercharge productivity and reach your goals. I read this book and it blew my mind up. Micro blocking of your time, planning of your time, and all of those. Not in the way that we think it is. Time Blocking, good book. So you should not only understand attention, you should practice it. That means creating focus blocks, setting boundaries, choosing better inputs, reducing unnecessary noise, unnecessary conversations, and giving consistent attention to what truly matters. What truly matters. We need to move the needle a little bit after this, and it has to be around all of these points that I just mentioned. So let's go into our conversation today within the short time that we have. It's a series, so I'm not in a hurry. We're going to just keep talking about this over and over again until we get to the final session, as it were. So all right. What is attention? Let's start from there today. What is attention? If I ask a lot of us now, we're going to have different definitions to attention. But I came up with this, and I don't know if I mentioned it the last in the last session that we had. But then let's start from there. Attention is the disciplined, I said, direction of your mind. Disciplined direction of your mind, disciplined direction of your energy. And I'm intentional about the choice of words. Disciplined direction of your mind, disciplined direction of your energy, and awareness. Awareness towards something that matters. Awareness towards something that matters. So attention is not just looking. I know someone said that the eyes that look are many, but the one that see are few, or is few. The eyes that look are many, the eyes that see very few. So attention, it takes attention. It takes paying attention. And that's why I mean, English can be very interesting. They say pay attention. You either pay attention, P-A-Y, you pay it like it's currency, or you give attention. Attention is precious. That's why a lot of us will be looking at the same thing, but very few of us are seeing what we are meant to see. Someone will give a presentation like I'm doing now. A lot of people are looking. but a few are seeing. You can look without seeing. It takes attention to see. A lot of us can hear without listening. So a lot of people are here now, either now or to watch later. You are you are you are you are hearing, but you are not listening. It's possible to be present somewhere, physically present somewhere, but you are absent mentally. It takes attention to be present physically and present mentally. And that's why you can sit in a meeting and be in 5 different places at the same time. You see that? That's why you can be with your friends and you can be mentally somewhere. You can be mentally on Instagram or even mentally sleeping, but you are looking, you are gazing, you are all together, but you are not there. You see that? So it takes attention to get results from life. That's why I said earlier you can be reading a book and you can still be thinking about a comment that someone made 3 days ago while you're reading the book. You can be listening to me now or hearing me right now, whichever way, but then you're processing 1,001 things at the same time here. Now, these things will not happen automatically, right? But then I'm saying that we want to begin to live in the consciousness of the currency called attention. You see that? Attention is not merely the presence of your body. It's not merely the presence of your body. Attention is the presence of your body and the presence of your mind. I'll say it this way that it is uh let me see, let's put it this way. It's the ability for you to say that this is where I am, this is what matters now, and this is where I will invest my focus. That's what it takes. I said earlier that the opposite of attention is not distraction. It's in the real sense of it. I said it earlier. It could be distraction, but is it really distraction? The opposite of attention is fragmentation. It is when your mind has been broken into too many pieces. You are here, but you are not whole. You're not totally here. You are walking, but then your mind is jumping. That's fragmentation. You are not there. You are not whole. You see that? Some of us, you're praying, for those of us who do that, but then your thoughts are wandering. You're building a dream, you're building a vision, you're building an idea, but all that your mind is doing is comparing one with another. That's not wholesome. You see that? You're planning, but you're scrolling. You see, you are resting, but you are consuming. So, fragmentation is actually, for me, the opposite of attention, and it's dangerous because it does not always look like failure. You see, sometimes fragmentation looks like productivity. In fact, some people will sugarcoat it as multitasking. After all, I'm just replying a message quickly. I'm just checking an update. You see, I'm with you, but I'm just attending to, you're liking a post, you're watching videos. I mean, I will come back to it in a bit. I just need to, you're telling yourself all of that. You quickly want to read a headline. You want to quickly consume an information, especially in the world that we are in. I call it the microwave world, the microwave era, the microwave generation, where we want everything to do fast, 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 fast. And believe me, guys, in my little study of people and paper process and procedures, I have found out that nothing genuine comes out from a microwave process. Nothing. Because at the end of the day, when you do all of that, you now ask yourself, what did I really move forward? You now find out that you have moved a lot of things, but never to the finish line. You have moved them a little bit forward, but then because you are in the middle, that's why they say that a one-eyed man in the midst of blind people would always see himself as a king. That's one thing I had to begin to I am dealing myself on, you know, that I ask myself, am I a one-eyed man in the midst of blind people? Or am I a one-eyed man in the midst of two-eyed people? Because at the end of the day, because you moved it forward a little bit, your target is to hit 1 million, and then you hit it, you got to 400. Hey, guys, I mean, it's good to celebrate yourselves at that point. I am one of those who believe in celebrating little wins, but I'm saying that after celebrating your little wins, learn how to shelve the trophy and move some more forward and push some more forward. I don't care how long you want to celebrate those little wins. Celebrate it. Buy yourself a gift. Cheer yourself on. Awesome. I'm not where I used to be, but I'm not where I want to be. So adding the clause that you are not where you want to be should be a motivation, should be a drive for you to pay more attention to what do I need to do. Who are the people who have chested the tapes or the tape that I want to chest in this regard? My goal is to, at the end of 2027, have a minimum of 100 million naira in my account, 10 million, 5 million, depending on your capacity, or $1 million or $2 million, whatever it is. Now, oh, awesome. I've been able to save 100,000. Woo, good job. You can take 10,000 from there, take yourself out, celebrate yourself, buy yourself a gift, mail it to yourself. But haven't done that. Remember that what you have at the front is that tape. You have to chest it. And then you are asking yourself questions. Who are those that have gotten there? What did they do to get there? You are reading their books, you are reading their comments, you are checking what they are saying. You know, a few days ago, there was a buzz around when Tony Lumelu went to Monaco, I guess, to go see his mentor, and then people began to make a whole lot of things around that. And but the truth is that, hey, at his level, he has mentor. He has a mentor, not the one that he sees on TV or he reads their books. You know, a mentor has to be somebody you can reach, somebody you can sit with physically. So if you say that Tony Elumelu, for example, is your mentor, when last did you guys talk? When last did you guys, have a sit down conversation? Because we're in a generation where they just want to call somebody. I mean, the name of the man, I'm just hearing that name. I mean, I've had that name, but I'm just really like taking time to really go study about the man. Because if Tony Elumelu says this is my mentor, you want to go check who that person is. And I began to read about it. I'm like, oh wow, so this is it. But we're in a generation where millennials, every one of us, want to have. Oh, do you know that Dangote is my mentor? He's not your mentor. He's a role model. Learn how to differentiate those two. He's a role model. And then you consume everything he's pushing out there. I remember when Barack Obama became the president of America, I began to read everything about him, every speech. I said to myself, the day I'm going to meet him, I'll tell him every speech you have ever made, every interview you have ever been a part of. I have listened to them, I have watched them, I have taken notes, and that's the truth. I have listened to everything he's ever posted, he's ever said. That's how it's done, friends. Don't let what I call attention loss creep in to your journey of success. Don't let attention loss creep in to your journey of success. There's more. Tell yourself that. KJK, there's more. Awesome. You've been able to achieve this through persistence, through consistency, through words of affirmation, putting in the work day and night, reading like a madman, and be conscious of the relationships around you. But come on now, there's more. There's more. There's more. Attention loss creeps in very subtly. It does not usually come like a thief with a loud announcement. No, it comes subtly. Attention loss comes just 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes. I'll be right back. It's happened to me a lot of times. It comes. Let me just quickly check out this thing. I don't want to miss out of this news. I don't want to miss out of this information. Let me quickly take a look at it. Everybody is talking about it. Let me check what they are saying. And then before you know what's happening, 2 hours of your life has gone. Because it's not 2 hours of your time. It's 2 hours of your life. I need to respond now. Oh, this may be important. That's how attention loss creeps in. And behind many of these small moments is a very bigger cost that a lot of us don't even know. Every time that your attention over something that has to do with success and growth is broken, your depth is affected in that regard. And again, remember, I said that 2 weeks ago that without depth, there cannot be mastery. Without depth, there cannot be wisdom. Without depth, you cannot have innovation. You're just going to get result like every other person is getting. Without depth, there cannot be any meaningful success. You see that? Greatness does not flow or grow in constant distraction. Greatness requires depth, friends. Greatness requires depth. I've been in meetings, virtual presentations that I can't even tell anyone, where I've had to make presentations on leadership, presentations on artificial intelligence, presentations on information technology, cybersecurity, and all of those. Because of the kind of room and the kind and the category of people in that room. I'm not talking about even physical room, I'm saying virtual meetings, virtual invitations. Greatness requires depth. You cannot, I'll say that again, you cannot build a serious life, a successful life with a shallow mind. You cannot do that. You cannot build a strong future with a scattered focus. You cannot even lead effectively if everything can pull you. We are running this system right now, even against all odds, with all our challenges. We've been here for 21 years and we are still counting. Again, like I said, we may not be where we want to be, but we're not where we used to be. A vision that started without any dime, nothing at all. You know, a lot of people start with leverages. Some people start with some money. Some people start with uncles, aunties. We had nothing when we started this work. Consistent focus, attention to what matters. is what has brought us thus far. You cannot create impact if everything triggers your reaction. You can't make impact that way. You have to react on everything. As a leader, you can't make impact that way. You cannot become excellent that way. So let's talk about, the reality of today as we find a place to close it out. We said it's 45 minutes every other Sunday. So we'll take it up again from here next in 2 weeks' time. Let's talk about the reality of today. You see, um, and I know you're going to agree with me that we are in the age of abundance. Excuse me. We're in the age of abundance, abundance of content, abundance of opinions. Everybody has an opinion. At times you just go online and then you see a post, and then you can spend an hour just reading comments, and everybody has an opinion about something. That's the era that we are now. Abundance of videos. You can stay one day and you will not be tired. One AI video to one of that to one. Am I saying all of that are bad? No, that's not what I'm saying. But you want to be intentional about it and responsible about it. We have abundance of messages, abundance of teachings. Believe me, guys, we also have abundance of opportunities, whether you like it or not. We're having a conversation, I think it was yesterday, with somebody very dear to me. We're talking about, how for those of us watching from other nations, you may not understand, but how there are a whole lot of opportunities in a country, for example, like Nigeria. And we're talking about the opportunities that we have in the midst of the chaotic economy and the chaotic situations around. But then a lot of people have focused their attention on the chaos, on what is going on, and not considering the fact that in this chaotic situation, there are some opportunities. And talk about the abundance of noise everywhere. Just noise and noise and noise. Excuse me. Abundance of courses, just a lot of things everywhere. But I want to say this. Just give me a minute, please. Thank you. I want to say this, that in the midst of this abundance, right? Abundance of voices, abundance of all of the things I have said, in the midst of that, abundance without attention becomes confusion. You not being able to bring all of this together in line with purpose, in line with vision, in line with direction, in line with passion. Abundance without attention becomes confusion. You can have access to everything, but then you still lack direction. You can have access to everything and still lack direction. You can have access to information and still lack transformation. We're in an era where so much of information out there. Excuse me. You understand what I'm trying to say, right? You can have access to contacts and still lack connection. There are some of you, a few of you, two, three of you that I had told you that we're going to sit down and talk. Probably some of you on the call. We're going to sit down and talk. You have contacts, but rather than these contacts building you to a higher height, a higher level, you have every reason why those contacts cannot produce for you. Maybe you just need to focus a little bit more. You just need to pay more attention. Because you can have opportunities and still lack preparation. And so when those opportunities come, because you're not prepared, you miss them. That is why attention matters to your mindset. Everything begins from the mindset because it is your mindset that produces, it forms repeated exposure. What you keep watching will start shaping how you see things. What you keep hearing will start shaping how you think. What you keep admiring, you see that? It will start shaping what you desire. And what you keep comparing yourself with will start shaping how you value your own life, how you value your own things, what you keep comparing yourself with. And that's why two people can wake up on the same day and experience the same economy. They will experience the same traffic, the same pressure, but one is hopeful and the other is bitter. You see that? The same economy, the same traffic, the same pressure, the same everything. But one is still hopeful than the other. You know why? Because they are feeding on different things. I've said this several times over the years. I'm sure some of us who've been with me for many years would smile again to this. I said that if you eat what giants eat, it's just a matter of time. You're going to be a giant eventually. So they are feeding on different things, and to feed on what giants are eating comes with a lot of attention, not distraction or fragmentation. See, attention is the nutrition for the mind, though. Attention is the nutrition for the mind. Now, wrap it up here. Some people, some of us, we are mentally weak, not because we are not intelligent. We are mentally weak because we are feeding our minds with junk. If only you can tweak what you're feeding your mind with just a little bit as we move into this is the last week of the first half of 2026. We're moving into the second half of 2026. And this can be your best half of the year ever. And it comes down to what you're feeding your mind with. Success in life is garbage in, garbage out. You are intelligent. Stop feeding your intelligent mind with junks. Junk content, junk comparison, junk arguments, junk fear, junk gossip, junk outrage over what you should not even be outrageous about. Junk entertainment. Am I saying they are bad? Yes, they are. Because for all of this I just mentioned, they are also the good ones. You see, let me be clear. Entertainment is not evil. Get that right. Rest is not evil. Social media is not evil. A lot of people have made money from there. Technology is not evil. That's my sphere. But anything that owns you beyond your control has become a master. Anything. So the issue is not whether you use technology. The issue is whether technology is using you. You see that? The issue is not whether you are online. The issue is whether you are still in charge of your attention when you are online. That's the issue here. Because attention also matters to mental health. You see, it just comes 1 minute here, 2 minutes there, 1 minute there. Let me make that call and talk to this person for 5 minutes, and then who you are talking to, who you are watching, who you are listening to. All of these things come together to form what either destroys or propels your mental health into success. A distracted mind is often an exhausted mind. And one of the things I've been telling myself is that I don't want to have an exhausted mind. I don't want to have a troubled mind. I don't want to have a confused mind. And all of this comes by intentionality, paying attention to what you give attention to. You see that? So whether your brain is constantly switching or constantly checking, constantly reacting, constantly comparing, constantly absorbing bad news, it becomes difficult to feel settled. Difficult to feel settled. And that's why many people are tired, but they cannot rest. A lot of people are sleepy, but they cannot sleep. They are quiet, but they are not peaceful. They are alone in their space, but they are not still. A lot of people are connected, but they are still lonely. They are informed, but they are still anxious. You see that? The mind was not designed to carry the whole world in one day. You need to understand that. But that's what the internet is trying to do. That's what the kind of friends and the kind of associations you have around you, that's what they are trying to do. Make you carry the world in one day. Solve the problem of the world as it relates to you in one day. In the morning, you're hearing there's a war there, there's a fight there, there's a kidnap there, there's a this there. In the afternoon, you're hearing someone's wedding is coming up or someone's this birthday. In the afternoon, you're hearing about a celebrity scandal. By the evening, already someone is teaching you how you can become a millionaire in 10 days. Before bed, before you sleep at night, you are watching someone cry about a betrayal. Then you sleep and your mind is trying to process all of these global tragedies, personal ambitions, comedy, envy, fear, pressure, relationship drama, all in one brain. You see that? That's why people are tired. Your mind, our minds need boundaries. Our peace needs protection. Our attention needs leadership. And that's one of the things that I want to do. Give your leadership, or rather, give your attention leadership. That's the whole idea behind this series. Give your attention leadership. That's what we represent here at the Real Platform. Helping people become more focused in what they are wired to be doing. I hope you got what I'm trying to say today. And I hope you go back and sleep over it. You go back and think about all of the things that we have discussed tonight or this afternoon, wherever you're watching from, and begin to see how you can make amends, as it were. I'm positive that your best year ever is still ahead of you and not behind you. I am positive about the fact that your dreams have life and it will not die. It will not die. So I'll see you again in 2 weeks, I guess. Yep. Go back and watch the first, watch this one, and then we can connect, to the other one. Thank you so much for your time. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye for now.
The Real Platform mission is to catalyze young people across the world to leverage practical and innovative approaches for global citizenship. Our vision is a world where every young person is transformed into a global citizen, equipped to create positive change in their communities and beyond. Through strategic initiatives, leadership development, community engagement, and innovative projects, we are empowering the next generation to become responsible changemakers and nation builders. We invite you, join our thriving tribe today and become a member in any of our city expressions. We also invite you to partner with us, sponsor our projects, and join us in making a lasting impact across communities and nations. To become a member of this tribe or to partner with us, sponsor a project, or learn more about our work, please call or send a message to +234 704 446 4445. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you. The Real Platform mission is to catalyze young people across the world to leverage practical and innovative approaches for global citizenship. Our vision is a world where every young person is transformed into a global citizen, equipped to create